Okay, good day, everybody. It is, wow, already May, first week of May in 2023. So I thought I would do a quick screencast update on what's being worked on, what's going on. I know there's a ton of you that are waiting for either features or things that have been requested. So this is a lot of this is for you guys, for the ones that are waiting on things, because I'm kind of been reluctant to give out ETAs on stuff, and I'll kind of elaborate on why that is. But what I want to just hit on is, first of all, that every day there's work going on with this, every single day, and I mean without exception. So nobody is sitting on their hands or goofing off. Like, this is constantly being worked on. So the problem with currently the development pipeline is that there are pieces of this that are, especially with payment processing, where the functionality and what's being rewritten, there's a lot of legacy code in there still. When I say a lot, most of our code has been updated, but there's still a few pieces of legacy code, and those take a while to rewrite because they've been running for so many years that um, you really have to be careful. You can break something kind of rather easily. If we were rebuilding this whole thing from scratch, it'd actually almost be easier, believe it or not. I think about that a lot, but we can't go down that road at this point. Like, we're just too deep in. We gotta push forward and just keep working on the system that we have. So the biggest thing that's being worked on right now, if you go into like this test company and I click to add payment, this interface right here, even though it's been modernized, at least the look and feel of it, but on the back end, this is still running some pretty old code. This one, in addition to, like, once I get to the next step and I choose what I'm going to pay here, and I go off to whichever payment gateway or method I do here, these interfaces are still, many of them, not all, but many of them are running some pretty old code. And uh, you know, it's not that any one of them is so difficult to do. It's just that you can't just change one. Once you're going to change the base and start removing chunks of legacy code, you're going to have to go out and update everything that would affect. Otherwise, you're definitely going to break something. So that's the reason why anything related usually to like the payment processing aspect of all this, it just takes longer because you can't just mess with one little piece of it, because you're almost certainly going to break five other things when you do it. And that once all of this stuff gets rewritten and modernized, that will not be a problem anymore. It's just sort of getting over this hump, getting over this hurdle where we get that old legacy code out that's very difficult to maintain, and get the new stuff in that's using new frameworks that are way easier to maintain. And once those are in place, it's much easier to do bug fixes, feature enhancements. Those things are pretty quick to just throw them in and get them going. So if you're waiting on that, if it's like, one of the ones is like, we're trying to get the like, if you want to pass along transaction fees, and you can label it, if you want to call it convenience fee, transaction fee. And we rolled that out a long time ago, and it works on, I think it's QuickBooks Payments, and right now only for desktop. So that's being expanded into the other payment methods, so it will work everywhere. But every single one of those interfaces has to be changed, and even those, the original iteration, the original rollout of that with QuickBooks Payments is even old code. So like, that has to be torn out, stripped out, and then replaced with a new framework that is more modern and easier to maintain. If we were to try to go and just snap in the same old legacy code, it would take at least as long, if not longer, and then you've got even more code that now you're going to have to remove down the road just to get this stuff working right. So the solution is to fix them all, is to get them all working the way they're supposed to work. Upgrade to a more modern framework for the user interface, and also everything that's being processed on the back end should be done the new way, right? And that does take a while, because you still have to go into all those and remove the old code, put the new stuff in. It works better. Once this rolls out, it will work better, more smooth, more reliably. And there's even other pieces to it. I don't know if I want to get into all that in here, but like even things like payment processing, the order of operations, for example, right now, one of the problems we have is what if there's a technical glitch with recording a payment, say, for example, in QuickBooks Payments, but we already captured the credit card charge or the ACH or whatever the payment method is. So if you have to roll back, all we can do right now is we can refund. Like we can basically, on your side, you could go in and refund it, but that costs money. They're now charging transaction fees even on the refunds. That's just not acceptable anymore. So we can't. What we now have to do is change it where we're going to record the payment first, kind of put it in like a pending state. And then we go to capture the card. If it fails, then we will just delete and roll back. We'll remove the payment. We can't do it the other way around anymore. It's just too costly. If any mistake happens, it could literally, you know, if you've got payments that are high dollar value or high value invoice payment, it could cost a lot of money when you're just talking about a refund on a invoice. Just there was a technical problem with the payment, recording of the payment, the accounting side of it, and then you got to roll it back. Well, they're going to charge you for that too. So that is not, we just can't have it work that way anymore. So that has to be fixed as well. Same thing with another thing is like, for example, Stripe payments we've been doing it kind of the old way for a lot of years. And they're kind of pushing developers now. It's not been removed, the capability, but they want everyone using the Stripe payment. They call it Element, right? So you've seen it everywhere. If you go to a website where they take Stripe payments, it always looks kind of the same. I mean, you can tweak it a little bit, make the fields look different, but they want you to run the card tokenization or creation through their API directly, okay? And then it hands you back the token, and then that's what we save. We already kind of do that right now as it is, but we are the ones that process it on our backend. They want to do it completely on theirs, and the idea is that it's more, I mean, whether it is or not, I guess that's debatable, but they're saying it's more secure. I think it's just as secure either way, but that's the way they want it, you know, developers to run it going forward. So even with the, you know, if you're going into a credit card transaction like this one, and it's going to be Stripe, we're going to probably have to tweak that one as well, so that it's using their little Stripe element, their little JavaScript code. I don't mind doing it. It's just those kind of things take time, and then every time you have to do another one or change it, you know, it's development time. And I'd rather be working on new features, but you know, stability kind of has to come before things that I would sort of call nice to have. Stability is paramount. You cannot have things breaking, things going down, things not processing, or costing people money due to refunding transactions that failed or something like that. So we have to think of that first, and then we can shift the focus onto more new cool features and stuff like that. So I guess my main push on this announcement is to say there's work going on constantly. The big brunt of it is in the payment processing side. I know there's several people that are waiting very patiently, and I appreciate that, waiting for some of the features on this to get done. And they are coming. I again don't want to go throwing out any ETAs again. I can just only say like this part with the specific payment gateways like Authorize.net, Stripe, and QuickBooks Payments, especially those three, that's every day there's work going on under the hood on those. And once those are ready to go, they're going to get pushed out. Probably one or more of you that are waiting are going to be some initially doing the testing on some beta testing on those to make sure that everything's running fine, and then we're going to roll it out. Once that's rolled out, probably going to come back and hit this page and and we're going to retool this a little bit because this again has some legacy code running on it. Once that has been snapped in, and then we're going to be able to push forward with the myriad of other stuff that's on our list, our to-do list. So I would just say, be patient, please. There's lots of really cool stuff coming. My goal for this platform is to see it expanded even further. I want to see more customizations, not just with features, but like more ways that you can customize it, brand it, add services into it. Like there's just a whole ton of stuff that I want to see happen on here. So, but we got to get over this hump with stripping out this old legacy code. It just causes too many problems for too many users. And I'll say one more thing before I close on this. There are some people who are still having issues where they're inviting users and they're trying to get logged in. Actually, I'm going to make a separate video on that because that I don't want to make this any longer than it is. I was going to do 10 minutes only, so I'm going to make a separate video on that. If you're listening to this one, I'll make another one and I will address that in the next video.